Download your supply list in the description below. Let's look at the paper that you could use for watercolor. If you're a beginner, you're going to want cold press watercolor paper. There's a bunch of different types you can get. This one is Canson, the XL watercolor, and this one is Strathmore, which is my favorite. For beginners, just make sure that it's cold press watercolor paper and it needs to be 140 pounds, 300 GSM. There's also hot press watercolor paper. I don't recommend this unless you're going to do some mixed media. If you want to add some colored pencil, marker to it, then that's the watercolor paper for you. You may also want to buy some sketchbooks. Sketchbooks are great just for practice. This small one is from Michaels. It's another XL Canson sketchbook, but this one is my favorite because it's 140 pound paper and it has small slips of paper in between your watercolor paper to protect the paintings that you practice. This is a great sketchbook, so if you can find one that has those little slips of paper in between, it's a great thing to have. Next, let's talk about paint. This paint is Common Beginner Watercolor Paint. It's by Winsor & Newton, and you can get it right at Michael's. You can get it in tubes, or you can get it in the trays. I like the tubes because I like to get my own trays, and then I can use as much as I want. I have bigger spaces that I can mix in, but it's up to the individual watercolor artist. This is a nice little tray. I got it at Michael's for $3. All these supplies can be found on Amazon, and when you look at your list that I have loaded below in the description, there's lots of different places that you can buy them, and I have the prices for different types of supplies. So brushes. Really, you only need a wash brush to start and some round brushes. Wash brushes are these brushes that are big and floppy and they hold a lot of water. So this one is a really nice floppy brush. That's great for holding a lot of water. This one is a square brush. It doesn't hold as much, but it will do the job. And this is a mop brush by that same Winsor & Newton Cotman company. Then you need round brushes. These are mainly what you need to start. I have 3 round brushes that I start with. One is a 10, a size 6, and a 2. They hold a lot of water, but they have a nice tip, and you need that for any small spaces as well. That's basically what you really need, but I added a few extra to mine when I went shopping. All of these brushes, again, were bought at Michael's. This is a nice square brush. It's angled. I love those angle brushes. They're really nice to use. And then I just bought some different types of brushes to make some other lines. And a nice fine tip brush for any tiny little details. You also will need 2 containers of water. One is to wash your brush. The other one is to have clean water for when you're working. I like my jars to be clear so that I can see how dirty the water is. Some extras that you might need. This is a masking fluid. This is Misket by Grumbecker, but all kinds of brands make them. And I like to use some little spray bottles. This one's from the dollar store. And this one is a squirt bottle. Squirt bottles are great to have for watercolor. And then just regular old table salt. Table salt makes texture in watercolor. That's a nice thing to have. And there you have it. Those are your supplies. Don't forget to download your list below. Thanks for watching.